go live so I can share it, and then I'll put my phone down.
Okay.
I'll let you know as soon as it hits.
Cool.
15. 15. 5, 4, 3,
It's live.
2. Stand by, Brad. Brad, go.
Hello, good to have you with us on Red Barn Radio. I'm Brad Becker. Tonight we are in our 21st season of Red Barn Radio, and we welcome you to show number 792. A curious and fresh combination of grit and humor, Josh Morningstar is knocking down stereotypes with his worn boots and unforgettable raspy voice. Well, his boots aren't worn tonight. He's a small-town guy that originally hails from Funkstown, Maryland, and he carries those roots in a suitcase with him wherever he goes. His small-town charm is evident in the way he greets people and in the conversational way that he weaves the stories of his life into his music. We're so glad to have with us tonight for the first time on Red Barn Radio, Josh Morningstar.
Thanks, sir. Beneath the streetlights in the stockyards, I pulled you close. We danced there on the sidewalk, saw the bars were closed, moving to a melody that no one else but us would ever hear. Gave a $5 to a Mexican, his name was Julio. Gracias, he said, and handed you a single rose. Through the midnight on your face, you asked me if I knew a place to disappear. You said it's time we get away from here, leave our worries and our troubles behind us in the rearview mirror. I could take you to the coast, we could both get on a boat and sail. Or I know you love the snow, and I know a place to go and Vail. Or maybe we could make a home in the next town that we end up going through. 'Cause you know that I don't care for where I go, I don't give a damn for what we do, as long as I'm there with you. Beneath the painted purple desert sky, I pulled you close. I shouted at the heavens that I'd never let you go. You laughed and called me crazy. I laughed and said I thought I made that clear. There was stillness in the nightfall, sand between our toes. The angels took the night off, so we went chasing ghosts. When I told you that I loved you, won't forget the way you smiled from ear to ear. You said there ain't no place you'd rather be but here, and you're glad we left our troubles behind us in the rearview mirror. When we head to the coast, we both got on a boat and sailed. We made love and watched it snow at a cabin no one knows in Vail. Then you said let's make a home in the next town that we end up going through. But you know that I don't care for where we go, I don't give a damn for what we do, as long as I'm there with you. So let's head out to the coast, let's just get on a boat and sail. Let's sit and watch it snow at a cabin no one knows in Vail. 'Cause I'm in to make a home in any town we end up going through. 'Cause you know that I don't care for where we go, I don't give a damn for what we do, as long as
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
Josh Morningstar, our guest this evening, has shared the stage with some of today's most sought-after folk and country artists, including Shooter Jennings, Cody Jinks, Tyler Childers, Todd Snyder, Coulter Wall, and Ward Davis. Named the 2018 Texas Radio Songwriter of the Year, Josh and his Christofferson-signed guitar have knocked out melodies in dingy hotels all across the country. He's written songs alongside Kendall Marvel, Channing Wilson, Autumn McIntyre, and many more. Morningstar was also the writer of several Cody Jinks songs, including his #1 hit, Must Be the Whiskey. Welcome, one and all. We are so glad to have Josh Morningstar with us for this special solo performance tonight on Red Barn Radio.
Well, thank you for having me.
Great to have you here, man.
I appreciate being here finally, man. Well, that's mighty kind of you guys. Thank you very much. Oh, man. So my name's Josh. I'm 39 years old. I'm from Funkstown, Maryland. I've spent the last way too many years of my life running around this country writing songs, singing songs for anyone that would listen to my songs, and quite a few who did not. Some of the songs I'm going to do for you tonight I made up. Some of them other people made up. Some of them I made up with other people who made up stuff I wish I would have made up. Man, writing songs is really the only thing I've ever been good at. And sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, man. That's what this is about. It's called melody. Reheat the day-old coffee, 'cause the whiskey hides it so that I can't taste it. Another day has come, but I'm too numb inside to even try to face it. I pull the curtains down to try to keep the daylight out. I think I'll take them. Outside there's people doing things that normal people do. It makes me hate them. I built myself a fortress out of memories and promises I've broken. I slammed and locked the door. There's no desire anymore to pry it open. And every word you've ever said keeps replaying in my head till I can quote them. My demons will not rest, and they're coming to collect the debt I owe them. Melody, melody. My blessing and my curse, you bring the best and all the worst out of me. Diary of a madman scribbled on a legal pad in bad handwriting. Most folks only laugh when I say ghosts of heroes past come visit nightly. A shadow on stage looking older than his age under the lighting. I've given all I have, I've given time, I've given back. Now it's to the point I've given up on fighting. Melody, melody. My blessing and my curse, you bring the best and all the worst out of me. Melody, melody. You took everything that's ever meant everything to me. Melody. Melody. All right. Well, thank you. And she walks along the sidewalk through the rain, and she shivers in the cold while I try to hide my longing, my falling. She goes about her mundane Monday morning, making music from the madness of the taxi cabs and winos begging change. And I watch from the window as I drank my morning coffee that's as black as the tiny little onyx on her necklace made of gold. As I wonder if the gift came from a lover who once held her, how I wish that I could hold her just the same for a second, for a minute. She smiled the kind of smile that makes a city stop and stare for a minute. For a while, we were there. And she sighs and throws her arms up as she steps in a puddle while I laugh from a distance at the sight of her frustration that I know comes from feeling like the whole world's so unfeeling, like my feelings for her flood the heart like rain around her toes. Then I pay for the coffee, then I step out in the city where she danced between the buildings to the sounds of singing sirens and the ghosts of the others who have left her for their freedom, finding failure, misbelieving, easy coming, easy goes for a second, for a minute. I smiled the kind of smile that comes from never having cared for a minute. For a while, I was there. Man, that's a pretty song. So, I don't consider myself to be a singer or a guitar player. I consider myself to be a songwriter. I say songwriter because I don't know what else to call it. Truth of the matter is I have no idea where these songs come from. And sometimes I'll write a song, I have no idea what it's about. For example, I wrote this next song, no idea what it's about. It's called Sanitarium Lovesick Blues number 4702 for some reason. I don't know what that means. And I went out chasing diamonds through the East Kentucky rain with a band of gypsies down the street that had no name. Hopped a freight train, called Inspired, fired up and let her out. Her whole existence shone, awoke and blown for smoke rings from her mouth. I'm talking about, hey mama, gravy in the pot, daddy on the line to the pushers on the block. Got a couple bad habits, he ain't never gonna stop. Guess the devil loving idle hand, oh man. Joker go low, ace to get high. Cut it, but it's nothing but a piece of the pie. And a crazy chase for gazies all the way down to Tennessee. She must be running from some troublesome, redundant memories. While she shots a holy water down with something to kind of burn. Inhibition gone, forgiving all I need to be concerned. I'm talking about, hey mama, fish is in the pan, daddy in the basement doing it again. He way too bad to give a good God. Guess the devil love a losing hand. Oh man, joker go low, ace to get high. Cut it, but it's nothing but a piece of the pie. I went chasing Anna, she was nowhere that I could find. I left a trail of cottontails and sweet blueberry wine. Please mind the store while I explore the furthest corners of my mind. Found her dancing on the canvas on the swirling sands of time. Talking about, hey mama, biscuits on the stove, daddy on the floor, one more overdose, let him go. Ain't no point of holding out hope. Guess the devil got him by the hand. Got dope could go low to the ace to get high. Cut it, but it's nothing but a piece of the pie. All right, thanks, friends. So, I'm pretty much an open book, pretty honest in my music and about who and what I am. I used to do a whole lot of drugs, but now I only do some drugs. But this song comes from when I did a whole lot of them. It's called Damn These Birds. I met a mockingbird, she sang a song for me. Gave me some fentanyl, I flew off on broken wings. Tried to catch her, but I couldn't catch a break. So I made myself a game to see how many I could take. Hey, I met a whippoorwill, he said, let's make a bet. He gave me 100 pills, some morphines and Percocets. He bet I couldn't take them all, if I didn't die. He'd teach me how to fall, cause he can't teach me how to fly. These birds, damn these birds, their ways, persuasive words, killing pain that doesn't hurt. Damn these birds. Conversations with a raven who's black as every night has been. Asked if I'd like to partake in taking Vicodin. I couldn't fight with him, I ended up overdosed. Blue jay, blue gray skin, laying comatose. Broken old crows on a fence post leaning. We split a fifth of cough syrup, codeine between us. Then went intravenous with a little Demerol. My body shook, the bastard just took off. These birds, damn these birds, their ways, persuasive words, killing pain that doesn't hurt. Damn these birds, digging worms out of my dirt. Damn these birds. All right, thank you, friends. Thank you.
Hey, our guest this evening on Red Barn Radio is songwriter
Thank you, sir.
Josh Morningstar and guitarist Josh Morningstar. You're that too.
All right, we get by.
You know, yeah, and I'm just going to say this. I probably don't need to tell you this. I hope not. But the guitar playing that you do with your songs is the kind of guitar playing that your songs need. and
Luckily, right?
Yeah, and I really like your what you do as a guitarist,
Man,
and I
I
feel
appreciate
I
that.
feel it's artful and it's another sort of important voice in the music, and
Thanks, man.
yeah,
I try. I guess, we work with what we have.
yeah. So yeah, and what we have, we got from someplace.
I guess so.
Yeah, where'd you get it?
Who are like some of my influences as far as guitar stuff
Yeah,
goes?
sure.
Man. So I'm not able to like shred, do all the that kind of stuff. I can't do any of that. So like finger picking stuff, probably guys like Jim Croce. He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was a heck of a guitar player.
He really was, huh?
Songwriter and everything else, but he was an amazing guitar player. When he would tour, it would just be him and his other guitar player, Maury Mulhausen. Just the two of them. He never toured with a band or anything. They just travel around folk duo, and we're incredible. You know what I mean? We're amazing.
I find it interesting that you know about Jim Croce. I mean, you're 39.
Man, I spent high school in my buddy Steve's basement smoking pot and listening to Jim Croce. That's how I spent high school. So
No kidding.
yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, because I think of Jim Croce as somebody who is more appealing to people. I don't know, who went to high school in the 70s or something.
Well, yeah, but
know?
good music's good music, and I appreciate good music. It doesn't matter if it's country, folk, rock and roll, hip hop. I come from hip hop, man. So
Huh.
yeah. So I appreciate a good song.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Genres are just a way for people to be able to identify something. They really don't matter at all.
Isn't it crazy how players like Jim Croce, and we could name a dozen, right,
Mm-hmm.
who are known for really some of their most mediocre tunes.
Yeah. Bad Leroy Brown. is
For
probably-
instance.
Man, so real quick story on Jim Croce, I gotta tell you. So
do.
I was running around. It was me. I had my tour manager and friend Cass, and just our buddy Bearcat, who would sometimes open the shows, right? And it was a hard run, man. We went from the East Coast to the West Coast, up to Minneapolis, down to Dallas, back up to the West Coast, through Wyoming. It was hard, man. So we ended it in Kansas City. We get to Kansas City and we decide we are going to get matching tattoos, right? So we're sitting in the back of the van trying to figure out what these matching tattoos are going to be. And in the background playing was a Jim Croce song, which had played 1,000,000 times on that trip.
Is it Operator?
No, it's a Rapid Roy Stock Car Boy. Just left my mind.
I don't know.
So it's Rapid Roy, that stock car boy, too much to believe. He always got an extra pack of cigarettes rolled up in his T-shirt sleeve. He got a tattoo on his arm that say baby. He got another one that just say hey. And when that line came on, that song had played 1,000,000 times throughout that run. that line came on, we all just looked up at each other. So there's 3 of us now walking around, got a tattoo on our arm that say baby, and another one that just say hey.
Yeah.
So, big Jim Croce fan, man.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, man. Great.
So that was how long ago that you were doing that grueling tour?
It's
Like a long-
probably about a year
Okay.
and a half now.
Okay.
2 years, yeah.
Not that
But I'm on the road all the time. I mean, that was just one lump of shows that just happened to be pretty rigorous.
Yeah. And so do you like you have kids?
I have 3 kids.
Yeah, you have kids and you're close to them.
Yeah.
And so how does that work with being on the road a lot, which you also love?
Yeah, so 2 of my kids, my 2 oldest are 21 and 19, so they're adults and out of the house. But I've been doing this for 19 years now. And it was rough. I missed everything, man. I missed everything. And that's still, the guilt from that is still something I'm working through to this day. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Because birthdays, birthday parties, weddings, funerals, all kind. You miss everything, dude. If you're serious about it and you're trying to, it's your only source of income, and you have these mouths
Yeah,
you gotta
right.
feed. So you gotta do what you gotta do. And like I said, this is the only thing I've ever been good at, man. So it was kind of like I either be miserable, and I've tried working jobs. I'm no good at it. You know what I mean? I'm good at writing songs, so I'd be miserable doing anything else. So I've just had to figure out a way to make it work. And the last couple of years, it's worked by other people recording the songs I write, and that's been my favorite. That's been my favorite.
So you're good at writing songs and playing guitar, and and do you so do you really feel like there wasn't anything else that
I mean, I'm good
you
at
were
some
good at?
stuff,
Yeah.
man. I'm good at being a dad.
right? That's a big one.
Good in bed. Like,
Oh, all right.
there's other things I'm good at, man. I just, that's kind of, when I die, my tombstone will say, Father, songwriter. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
Yeah. So you also, you're good with words. So songwriters do a variety of things, right? But they also have a way of sort of accessing the right language for the right feel and to convey something that's memorable and powerful and meaningful. Was there a time in your young life when you worked with a writer, either in an English class or something? Did you do any college?
no.
Okay, yeah. So was there a point in time when you had someone who you considered a mentor for you
Yeah.
in helping you learn to use language?
So specifically learning to use language, no, not really. I had my ninth grade English teacher, Kathy Thornhill, was really nice lady and was really encouraging of, because I wrote my first song when I was 9. I've known I wanted to do this for a very long time. You know what I mean? So she was encouraging of it, but as far as the learning to use language, honestly, man, it comes from my love of hip hop and how descriptive and how descriptive that music can be. You know what I mean? And then I've always done a lot of reading. My grandmother was a librarian, so I've done a lot of reading as well. But I mean, I have influences in people that I look up to and have tried to emulate. John Lennon said when we start out doing this, we do so trying to emulate our heroes. Eventually we realize we can't sound like or be our heroes, but it's in that space in between trying to emulate them and realizing that we can't, that we find ourselves in our sound. So there's obviously people that I've been influenced by, but as far as specifically learning to use language, I'd say hip hop.
Would you call reading? You still read a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Would you call reading part of your writing regimen?
Sometimes. Most of my songs have to come from personal experience, but every now and then I will write a narrative. But for the most part, even if I'm telling a story, chances are it's something that I relate to in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't get a whole lot of ideas from books. I did get a title one time from a book, but I can't remember which title it was. But one of my songs the title came from a book.
You ever pull phrases from things that you read, or do you?
I try not to, man.
Yeah, right. I was wondering.
I try not to. I feel like that's stealing, and everybody steals from somebody in this line. You know what I mean? Every song's been written. There's only every way to say I'm hurting. It's been written over and over again 1,000,000 times.
There's some book out there right now that's real popular by artists and learn how to steal like an artist.
Yeah.
Or something like. And I haven't even looked at the book, but there's something about that
Yeah.
bugs me.
So, but man, I love words. I love words.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, and you make someone listening to your songs love words too because of the way you use them.
I'm a niche, man. You got to pay attention. Like, I don't have a voice that's going to grab you. You know what I mean? You really have to listen to what I'm saying, I think, to dig my music. And that's fine. That's kind of intentional. It kind of helps to weed out. I'd rather play for 50 people that are listening than 50,000 that don't give a damn. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of helps weed out the people that I probably wouldn't want at my shows anyway.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a lot like Townes Van Zandt was like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
he was like
Townes is
that.
a big hero of mine in some ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a miserable SOB as a person, but
Seems like it.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to realize you ain't got to be sad to write a sad song.
Uh-huh.
So, a work in progress.
Yeah, and is that part of what you would say is your sort of your recovery or your decision to stop hard drugs, and that you felt like that is that part of the therapy that you do?
Kinda, in a way, yeah. See, that was so, like, I've been off hard drugs for 11 years.
Yeah.
So in a way, it seems like a different person. You know what I mean? So that kind of isn't as prevalent as it probably was at one point in time in my life. But I'm sorry, what was the question? I'm getting old.
I don't
man.
remember.
I don't either.
It was the question.
My bad, dude. I'm sorry. It happens.
I think I was kind of curious to know if you're, when you were using, when you were heavy into that, is that part of your artistic life that you ever
Gotcha.
look back upon?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely draw from that at times. That is
Yeah.
a place that I can, because they're experiences that I had in the life that I've lived. You know what I mean? Whether good or bad, it's been my life, and I feel I have a right to draw on that if I need to. The problem is when you live in that headspace. You know what I mean? When you go back there into that headspace to pull from that, and you can't get yourself out of it. And that's kind of what I've been battling for the last however many months now it's been.
They say it transforms your brain.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
and I've been doing some. So there's a line in the movie Songwriter with Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson. Chris goes, "Do you suppose a guy's got to be a miserable SOB all the time to write a decent song?" And I hope not, because I'm tired of being a miserable SOB, man. So I've been working on coming out of that place, and we're getting there. We're getting there. You know what I mean? Hopefully my songs don't start sucking, though. We'll see.
Every day we begin again, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that.
Yeah. Circumstances do not determine the man; they only reveal him to himself.
Indeed.
So.
Hey, talk about Funkstown.
Okay.
Speaking of your past, so what is that area of the country called where Maryland and Pennsylvania come together? Does it have like a
4-state DMV? There's a bunch.
Okay.
So where I'm from is an hour west of Baltimore, and Funkstown is a small town that sits outside of a bigger town called Hagerstown. Now, Hagerstown is in no way a city, you know what I mean, but it's not necessarily a small town either, you know what I mean? It's kind of in that place in between. I think our population is like 50 or 60,000, but Funkstown sits right outside of that, and Funkstown is a very small place.
What do people do there?
Go to Hagerstown.
Ah.
And there's nothing to do in Hagerstown, but
Go back to Funkstown.
Yeah, go back to Funkstown. Stuff you shouldn't do. Anyway, that area's gotten bad, but man. So yes, Funkstown's a small place, and my family was there for at least since my great grandmother. My grandfather was small town famous in Funkstown. For just being himself. He was a character. He used to wear these welder's caps that had like these real funky designs on them. And there was a bar called the Funkstown Tavern that he spent a whole lot of time at. And they still have, it's not the tavern anymore. It's a pizza place, but they still have one of his hats hanging in there. And I thought that was cool. So he was.
I love that.
It's one of those towns where everybody knows everybody and everybody knows everything about everybody. You know.
Yeah.
And the area in general has fallen on some hard times, but everywhere has. You know what I mean? It's rough all around right now. So, but you spend your whole life trying to get out of the place that you're from, right? And then you finally make it out. And then you start romanticizing the place until you go back there, and then you remember why you wanted to get the hell out of there in the first place.
So you were a little punk in Funkstown, like really little when you first decided that songwriting was going to be your vocation.
I was 9. I wrote a song called "School I Don't Like It."
Oh, perfect for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, and it was all downhill from there.
So you're like a 4th grader at that time.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know if you remember a group from the early 90s. It was 2 kids, and they were rapping. They were called Crisscross. Do you remember Crisscross wore their pants back, closed? Yep, that's exactly. Jump. So I was a huge Crisscross fan because they were kids, and I already, little suburban white kid, the coolest thing in the world is gangster rap, because that's not what you're living, you know what I mean? So I was real big into rap, and then here come these two kids, man, and they blow up. They have this huge song, man, and I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Well, they come to Hagerstown for a concert, and I'll never forget the date, August 12th, 1993, right?
Oh, come on.
And so their opening act calls people up on stage for a battle rap. I'm 10 at this time, so it would have been 92. I'm sorry, because I was 9. 92. So I get called up on stage, just this little 9-year-old white kid, right? And I take the microphone and I start trying to rap, and that crowd of grown adults booed me like I was a grown man. And I tell you that story to explain to you the mentality of the place that I'm from. These people booed me like I have never been booed since, So that's what it's like to be from Hagerstown.
Well, no wonder you found hard drugs.
Yeah,
I mean, after that
no
horrible
kidding, man.
experience.
No kidding,
That's horrendous.
Yeah, man. We laugh about it now, but the guy that was hosting that, his name was Ed Lover, and as I was walking off stage, Ed Lover told me, this 9-year-old kid, he said, "Don't quit your day job." And I've been waiting for 30 years to run into Ed Lover so I can shove my 4 number 1s in his face. But I haven't ran into him yet, so.
I want to meet that guy.
Ed Lover, yeah. Well, he was him and a guy named Dr. Dre, not the famous Dr. Dre, the beat maker, but another guy named Dr. Dre hosted a show on MTV back in the early 90s called Yo MTV Raps, and that's what he was famous for. And he did like a little comedy routine, and then would call people up up on stage for a rap contest. And they booed me, and that was Hagerstown. That's what it's like to be where I'm from.
That is so horrible. I just have to hear some more music now, I think. Let's get back to some music with Josh Morningstar.
Gotcha. So this
Thanks.
This a Christopherson tune. Chris Christopherson, one of my favorites. You wonder if I'm happy now. Well, that's good as any joke I've heard. It seems since I seen you last, I done forgot the meaning of the word. If happiness means empty rooms and drinking in the afternoon, well, I suppose I'm happy as a clam. But if it's got a thing to do with smiling or forgetting you, well, I don't guess that I could say I am. Did you ever see it down and out, or waking up alone without a blanket on to keep him from the dew? When the water from the weeds has soaked the paper, he been putting in his shoes to keep the ground from coming through. And his future feels as empty as the pockets in his pants, because he never seen a single dream come true. Well, that's the way that I've been feeling since the day I started falling from the bottle to the bottom, stool by stool, learning hard to live with losing you. You wonder if I'm better off with freedom now to do the things I choose. Well, all my time's my own now, I got nothing left but sleeping time to lose. There's no one here to carry on if I stay out the whole night long, or give a tank a damn if I don't call. I'm living like I want to and doing things I want to do, and nothing means a thing to me at all. Did you ever see it down and out, or waking up alone without a blanket on to keep him from the dew? When the water from the weeds has soaked the paper, he been putting in his shoes to keep the ground from coming through. And his future feels as empty as the pockets in his pants, because he never seen a single dream come true. Well, that's the way that I've been feeling since the day I started falling from the bottle to the bottom, stool by stool, learning hard to live with losing you. All right, so that's a Chris Christopherson tune. Thanks, man. Thank you. That's mighty kind of you. I appreciate you. So my buddy Cody Jenks has recorded 11 songs now that either he and I wrote together, that I wrote by myself, or with someone else, whatever the case may be. And actually, right before we went live here, I got a work tape from him of another one. So it's looking like there's going to be more, and that's pretty cool. God bless him, man. God bless him. But this song's the first song of mine that he recorded. And him and Sonny and Ward sold out the Ryman for 2 nights, and that's a big deal, man. The Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, longtime home of the Grand Ole Opry. That's a big deal, man, to do that as an independent. And I went to the show the first night, and I had never been to a concert where you could feel this sense of, like, achievement and pride in the air, like it was a tangible thing, like you could reach out, grab a handful of achievement or something. It was wild, man. It was wild. So a couple days later, I texted him and said, man, it was so beautiful. It was so inspiring. I'm so glad I was there. You know, thank you. And he texted me back and said, you know, thank you, whatever. Well, he didn't say whatever. I'm saying whatever to shorten my story. But at the end of his text, he said, I'm going into the studio to work on what was his Lifers record at the time. And he asked me if I had any songs that I thought would work for it. And guys, like I said, I'm not a singer, I'm not a guitar player, I'm a songwriter. So when an artist like Cody Jinks says, hey, do you have any songs that'll work for my new record? Even if I don't have a song that'll work for your new record, I have a song that'll work for your new record. But it turns out that I did have a song. I'd written it a couple months prior, and I sent it to him. And, you know, my songs, they all have 1 million words in them for some reason. I don't know why. I don't have that much to say. And if you've spoken to me in one-on-one conversation, you know I don't have that much to say. So I don't know why there's so many words in all my songs. But I didn't think he was going to dig it, but I sent it to him anyway. And no kidding, 30 minutes later, man, he sent me back a recording from his phone called a work tape, just him and his guitar, recorded on his phone. And he recorded it and took it to #1 all over the place, man, and God bless him for that. But my favorite recording will always be that first one of him, just him and his guitar that he sent on his phone. I still have it on my phone, listen to it every now and then. It's called Must Be the Whiskey. I'm not going crazy, but lately my head and my heart seem to be at least 8 million memories apart. My heart says to love you, my head says to run. It's like my heart is too afraid to tell my head what it's done. I know that it could never be the way that it was. Even though you be the death of me, I can't give you up too much. It's not enough, it's not the love, it's not the lust that grips me. It must be the whiskey. No, I've been drinking to remember and drinking to forget. I got I love you on my mind. I got Jim Beam on my breath. Loneliness has got the rest. I got nothing left within me. Must be the whiskey. No, I'm not going crazy, but lately these thoughts in my head are a whirlwind of a world of 1 million regrets. All the things I should have done, all the things I should have said, all the pain that comes with hating the mess you made of yourself. And I know I'm chasing rainbows, thinking I make it work, when the fact is that my actions spoke louder than my words. It only makes it worse, thinking of her, thinking she'll forgive me. It must be the whiskey. I've been drinking to remember and drinking to forget. I got I love you on my mind. I got Jim Beam on my breath. Loneliness has got the rest. I got nothing left within me. Sometimes it hits me whenever I'm a little tipsy. Oh, it gets me whenever I'm a little tipsy. It must be the whiskey. No, must be the whiskey. No. All right. Thank you. Let me take. So I was coming, I had a band with me. We were coming through the Mojave Desert, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was out of my mind on things that make you stay up for a long time. And the band was sleeping in the back. And I was driving and had been awake. And I said the words to this next song out loud like I knew them my whole life. But I hadn't, because I was making it up as I went along. And I never had it come just one line after another like that without any editing needed or anything like that. Just boom, 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 like I'd always known it. That had never happened before. Another reason why I think they come from somewhere else. But anyway, it was so cool, man. But then I kind of panicked because I know myself and I know that I was probably going to forget what I just said. But then I thought, well, if I can just remember the first line of each of the things that I said, then I'll be able to get the rest of the, you know what I mean, get there. Fake it till you make it, man. I'll be able to get there. And I'd like to stand here and tell you that the rest of the final version of the song is exactly how I first said it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you that it's not, but it's close, man. It's close. It's called The Plea. Mama, this highway's gonna kill me. Mama, I think my rose is wilting. With the kids and her alone, while I'm so far from home, God, I feel so guilty. Mama, this highway's gonna kill me. I hope the road that takes me there will always bring me back, but I guess whatever will be, will be. Mama, this highway's gonna kill me. Woman, I wish I wouldn't hurt you. This woman, it's clear I don't deserve you. I know it seems I only need you when I ain't got nowhere else to turn to. Woman, I wish I wouldn't hurt you. I'm sure it's some relief in giving up and moving on. And sometimes it seems way too much to work through. Woman, I never meant to hurt you. Lord, I beg of you, protect me. 'Cause lately, I swear the devil's out to get me. It ain't a leap of faith to say he always preys on the unsuspecting. Lord, I beg of you, protect me. 'Cause I can't walk with you if the devil got my hand. So I ask you, have my back and direct me. Jesus, I beg of you, protect me. Oh, Jesus, don't let them get me. Thank you.
We've got lots more music and conversation with Josh Morningstar, but I'd like to take a minute to remind listeners that Red Barn live streams, both tonight's and on any Wednesday, remain available online for you to view at your convenience on the Red Barn YouTube channel. Our live video stream is also available on the weku.org website, as is our audio stream, compliments of WGAD.net in Central New York. Don't miss a single episode of this program, and be sure to tell your friends what it is that you like about Red Barn Radio, why you like to listen, and why they should. Next week, we have the return of a band we love. A decade and a half ago, high school friends Joshua Wright and Severin Emerson joined together drums and acoustic guitars and falsetto vocals to make something both folksy and bluegrassy. They called themselves the Blue Suckers. They kept at it. The music evolved, and a few years later, they added a couple members who helped to further transform and fuel their sound into something which would eventually be called Bear Medicine. A reflection of their diverse backgrounds and influences, from Eastern music to chamber pop to psychedelic dream folk, Bear Medicine's music defies classification. Really, it's Lexington just loves Bear Medicine, and it's about time you checked them out if you haven't already. Join us for a great time talking and hearing Bear Medicine play out tunes from their latest album, Dog is Love. That's Bear Medicine, next week on Red Barn Radio. Now let's get back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We welcome you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the Arts Place Performance Hall here in the city of Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome back now, Josh Morningstar.
Hey, thank you very much.
All
man.
right.
So this is a positive song, or about as positive as it gets with me as far as musically goes. It's one of them never give up songs. Pulling Weeds. Got this shovel, got this spade. I got this day the good Lord made. The Georgia clay, a mule named Jack, a farmer's tan and an almanac. Hard times come to visit, ain't for the faint of heart, now is it? If there's bad, good comes with it. Life's a garden, I just dig it. I hoe my row, I sow my seed. Take care of what takes care of me. I'd stop to smell the roses, watch the willows in the breeze. But as long as there's still dirt, I know I'm always gonna be pulling weeds. Pulling weeds. Got my tools in these two hands, a worried mind, this blood-stained land. Chance to take, will to prove, and so much left that I have to do. When I gaze upon the garden, try to see the forest for the trees, there's always thorns on roses, so I'm always gonna be pulling weeds. Pulling weeds. Down here on my knees, pulling weeds. Dust bowl dry, hurricane, hell high water, sleet freezing rain. One thing you can count on, nothing stays the same. Nothing lasts forever, seasons always change. I got this show and I got this spade. I got this day the good Lord I could live my whole life without a phone call, the likes of which I got today. It was only my wife said hello, then goodbye, and told me she's going away. Well, I didn't cry, it was all cut and dry, and I hung up before I realized. I turned up my stereo and I walked through the window, and I stared at the storm clouds outside. I play classical music when it rains, and I play country when I'm going insane. But I won't play Beethoven, 'cause the mood don't seem right. I feel like Hank Williams tonight. No explanation, not even a reason. No talk of the good times we had. Was it me, was it her? Well, I don't know for sure, and that's why I'm feeling so bad. 'Cause I play jazz when I am confused. I play country whenever I lose. So bird saxophone, it just don't seem right. I feel like Hank Williams tonight. Lately I've been thinking that I just might quit drinking, but now I don't know, all in all. Well, I just might stay home and get drunk all alone and punch a few holes in the wall. So when I'm real high, I play rock and roll, and I play country when I'm losing control. So I don't hear old Elvis quite as much as I'd like. I feel like Hank Williams tonight. I feel like Hank Williams tonight. Jerry Jeff Walker tune, man. This is played in a lot of places, man, from bars to stadiums to furniture stores to slaughterhouses, and everywhere in between. And some nights are awesome, and people care to listen to what I say, and other nights are not that way. It was after one of those other nights that I wrote this. It's called Wishing Well. Depression, obsession, or unchecked aggression. You think I'd learn my lesson by now. Star-eyed barflies cause Friday night bar fights. I still pretend I'm alright somehow. And the old man in the corner's preaching fables and telling us we're all just bound for hell. And the waitress won't go over to his table, afraid she'll buy the lies he's trying to sell. The water's dry inside the wishing well. Glass-eyed, past high, my favorite way to pass time. I'm too ashamed to ask how it went. A stern mouth burnout won't let me get a word out. He's mad about the turnout again. He tells me that he's tired from my fables, and I tell him that he can go to hell. And I pray that someday I might turn the tables, but ain't nobody buying what I'm trying to sell. The water's dry inside the wishing well. Long day, wrong pay, I'm writing all the wrong ways. I hide from what the song plays, 'cause I already know. Been too gone for too long, I'm ready, set to move on. I'm sleeping with my boots on like I got someplace to go. And the man in the mirror's telling fables and playing like each day and night ain't hell. And he'd probably leave if he were able. This town, it keeps you bound inside itself, till the water dries inside the wishing well. Yeah, tonight is dry inside my wishing well. All right. Thank you very much.
Nice tune. So we're on Red Barn Radio here this evening with Josh Morningstar, and great to have you here, Josh. I'm having
Great
a
to be here, man. Thank
great
you.
time listening to your song solo pared down, and can really take in what you're talking about, which is great.
Thank you, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
So I'm going to sort of set up my next question this way.
Okay.
So I work with kids, and when kids, middle school kids, and when they're misbehaving, acting out in class, stealing people's stuff, and trying to get people to chase them, and distracting everybody else, I try to talk to the teacher and get them to tap what it is that the kid has done a lot of, because what we want to teach kids is you do a lot of something and you get good at it after a while. They might not buy into that when it comes to math problems and writing sentences and diagramming sentences and that kind of thing, but they do get into it if you can figure out what it is that they really like, and what it is that they've done. I got one kid, for instance, who's done a lot of hunting. He can't stand school, but he knows hunting. He knows fishing, and he knows kayaking. So that setup is to ask you this. You've done a lot of the work that you do, which is songwriting, and you've gained from that some wisdom and some understanding of not only maybe the process of putting a song together, but also of getting a song out there and finding and learning about that part of the business. I'm wondering if you could share some of the things that you've learned in the course of time.
I've always found that the best way to get songs recorded is to play live shows and meet the people that you want to record your songs. You know what I mean? That's how I met Jinx. We did some shows together, and he stood up side the stage and listened to my music and dug it, and that let him know that he could probably work with me at some point in the future. And I owe pretty much everything I have to touring and playing live. So that's always my advice when somebody asks me, how do I get someone to record a song? Is play live, do shows with these people who establish a relationship, and send them songs or write with them. You know what I mean? The easiest way to get a song cut is to write it with the artist. That's just the truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everybody wants, they're more likely to want to record something they had a hand in, But that probably doesn't happen without some type of relationship established first. So yeah, I always tell people, get out, play shows, and if you're not going to play shows, you're going to have to you're going to have to figure out how to network somehow. It's just part of any business really these days. You have to network and try to promote yourself in some way, because who else is going to do it if you don't?
So I can see someone out there in Radio Land saying, okay, well, that's cool, but there must have had to be something prior to the time when you were actually opening for Cody.
No, not at all.
Wasn't it just a lot of touring and a lot of work? And how did you hook up with him?
I mean, I just met him at a show. I opened for him, and that's specifically with Jinx is how that happened. I opened a show for him. He heard my music and liked it and felt that I was talented and was someone he could work with, But yeah, I mean, I toured forever. I played 15 years before anybody cared at all. You know what I mean? Like, I had little pockets where I would do good. Cincinnati was always good for me. So I had little pockets where I would do good, but no one cared until Jinx recorded. I shouldn't say no one cared, but very few people cared. We were like the Marines. My fans and the people that dig my music were the few and the proud. But man, yeah, I'd say get out and tour, man. Just nobody's gonna work harder for you than you are for yourself, and especially if you're just starting out, you have to be. There is no, it's not the 80s or the music business of the 70s and 80s, 60s where you get discovered, where some record label guy comes out and says, "I like your band, I want to sign you." That's not how that works anymore, man. Record labels that do still exist want to see that you've already done the groundwork and build a following. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no handouts anymore, which is a good thing because there's no need for them anymore. Everybody has the entire world at their fingertips, literally, in their pocket. You know what I mean? It's wild, man. So it's just, how hard are you willing to work?
So what about this? Have you been in a circumstance where someone has come along to you and said, "Hey, I'd really like to record this song," and have you ever then gone to listen to what that person's done before and said, thanks for being in touch. Keep in touch with me as you develop your craft, and great hearing from you, and keep on keeping on.
I haven't, man, because here's the thing: a lot of people don't realize once a song has been recorded one time, it can be recorded over and over again by anyone that wants to do it. Now, you have to pay royalties and things like that, you know what I mean? You can't just record and release somebody else's song and not pay them for it. But if that song had already been recorded one time already, you don't have to ask permission to do that. Like, I could record a Taylor Swift song right now, and as long as it was on one of her huge records, there's nothing anyone could do about it, as long as I'm, have the licensing agreement and I'm paying royalties and everything. There's nothing anyone can do about it. So there really hasn't, man. There really hasn't been anyone where I've been like, no, you can't do that because you're no good, because even if I did, it wouldn't matter.
I wasn't thinking so much you're no good. But,
okay, gotcha.
But I'm thinking of a song that nobody's covered of yours before.
Yeah, okay. Well, and if no one's done it yet, they have to have permission to do it.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's, I forget what it's called. There's a term for it. And
Permission.
Permission, yeah. Yep.
Have you ever looked at songs from other people, newer songs, and pursued them. I mean, you played some Jerry Jeff Walker tonight and some Chris Christopherson. Have you ever, heard songs that are sort of current out there and thought, boy, yeah, I'd really like to cover that song? And
Every now and then I'll hear something. I don't listen to the radio. I'm pretty crotchety and set in my ways, you know what I mean? And I've listened really to the same music forever. Every now and then something will slip through. There's man, I wish I could remember the name of the guy now. Darn it. Man,
what have I done to you
there was
here?
a great song that I just heard not too long ago, and it just totally left me as to what it is. I can think of the tune in my head, but I cannot for the life of me think who the artist is. I'd have to go back through my iTunes search.
So when you heard that song, was your thought, man, I'd really like during a show, I'd like to be able to share that with people?
Yeah, I learned it.
Or was it that well, I think what I do could be a neat interpretation of that song.
Yeah, I don't, very rarely do I do a song, when I do cover a song, very rarely do I do it the way it was done originally.
Yeah.
I always have been the type, because chances are you're not going to do it any better than the guy that wrote it, so you might as well try to put your own spin on it, you know what I mean? At least that's how I feel, so yeah, any song I cover, chances are it doesn't sound exactly like the song. You know, the melody will be the same more than
Sure,
likely, and the
right.
chord progression and everything, but
The lyrics.
yeah, yeah.
Fair.
But as far as how it sounds overall, chances are it's not going to be exactly how you're used to hearing it, you know?
Yeah. So a lot of the recorded music of yours that I've listened to was with a band, and sort of pedal steel played large in the music. Do you like traveling with the band, and do you get to do that very much?
So I haven't done it since 2019. I have found it easiest for my sanity to keep my traveling circus as small as possible. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of reasons for that. You know, a lot of times people don't think about when you're carrying a band, 4 or 5 guys, and the tour manager's 5 or 6 guys, and then maybe even a merch person, 6 or 7 guys. That's 6 or 7 different personalities that you have to sync up with, and that also have to sync up with each other. And that's 6 or 7 different personalities that you have to move from one town to another on a schedule. You know what I mean?
And you have to use up your emotional energy
Exactly.
to do that,
Yep.
right?
So I found it easiest to just take my guitar and sing my songs as I write them. And it keeps the overhead down too, man. Like, I can travel in my car, and you know what I mean? Don't have to get any more than one hotel room, and some nights not even get a hotel room. I don't care to sleep in the car. I still do it to this day.
Do you?
Truck stop showers and all that, yeah, man. So it's just, I have traveled with the band. It's been a couple years at this point. But yeah, at heart, man, I'm a troubadour. I just write my songs, sing them, and move on to the next place and do the same thing. You know, so
It's been great having you here.
I appreciate
It's
being
been
here.
a lot
I've
of
wanted
fun
to do
talking,
this
and
for a long time, man.
yeah. Baseball fan?
Kinda. Not. I don't
I have
really
to ask because of your lid.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to find anything other than Orioles hats to represent where I'm from. You know what I mean? So, but by default, I'm an Orioles fan. But I haven't had the opportunity to really follow baseball closely for several years now because I'm always driving or playing. You know. So.
Well, I mean, I just got to tell you, there's a great game going on right now.
Is it? I guess it'd be the World Series at this point, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Right. And the only thing I would rather be doing than being here.
Is why I don't.
No.
I couldn't even tell you who's in the series this year. Is it Philly and somebody?
It is.
Philly and who
Philly
else?
and Houston.
Houston.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, go Orioles. They had a great season.
That's what I hear.
They had a great season,
That's what I hear.
and you should be proud to be from there.
Most of the time.
And we are very happy you came.
Until they boo you until you're 9 and they boo you off stage.
Let's get
Man,
back
I'm glad to be here. Thank you very
music
much.
with Josh Morningstar. All right.
This is a song by a guy called my big brother, Billy Don Burns. He's lying there cold in a casket, but it's nice to see him wearing a smile. Dying was the easiest part. She hadn't let him rest for a while. But with everything considered, some kind of vacation was due. But he sure don't look bad for all she put him through. That's a high-dollar dress he bought her, so tight and highlighting her curves. She's basking in the heads she's turning. He put up with a lot from her. She's riding in a red Mercedes, and like the driver, they both are brand new. But he sure don't look bad for all she put him through. I saw him last week down at the courthouse, and he told me all he owned was that old pickup truck. Things he worked for, they meant nothing without her. He got tired, he just gave it all up. I could tell he hadn't slept in a long time. Man, it's amazing what the morticians do. He sure don't look bad for all she put him through. I saw him last week down at the courthouse. He told me all he owned was that old pickup truck. And the things he worked for, they meant nothing without her. He got tired, he just gave it all up. I could tell he hadn't slept in a long time. Man, it's amazing what morticians can do. 'Cause he sure don't look bad for all that she put him through. Poor bastard don't look so bad for all she put him through. All right. Thank you. Here's another one that Jinx and I wrote together. It was on his last record. It's called Feeding the Flames. Actually, let me break out a guitar pick for this one. All right, try it again. There's a fire deep inside of my lady that burns just for me. She struck a match on a heart full of gasoline. Sometimes it burns like a candle, sometimes it's out of control. Like on nights and it rains and she's pouring champagne and she calls out my name in the dark. Passion ignited, her eyes full of lightning, light up the night with a spark, feeding the flames of the heart. I've had love in the past go from ember to ashes to cold. In the blaze of the dawn, yeah, we stay going strong through the glow. Sometimes we make love by the light of a candle, sometimes we lose all control. Like on nights and it rains and she's pouring champagne and she calls out my name in the dark. Passion There's a fire deep inside of my lady that burns just for me. I used to know this woman who had the most beautiful tattoos on the top sides of both of her hands. She was 43 years old and, as far as I know, had never yet been with a man. It's not that she wasn't attractive, she was beautiful. It was the way she interacted. She was aggressively passive to the point where she would have intimidated any mitt that ever tried to catch it. On her right hand, she had a tattoo of a nude girl. She claimed it's what God resembled. And on the left, she had a mirrored image of the same female, and this one, she explained, looked like the devil. I remember once watching her touch her own breasts, how the tattoos smiled as they stared down her stomach, as if anticipating when they'd be allowed to caress the sweet flower that they both seemed to hunger, sweet flower. And maybe I was high, but it felt so right. Heaven and hell both take to this woman's womb. It didn't make sense how she could commence touching herself with me wide awake in the same room. But if I've learned anything in my years, I learned I no longer believe in surprise. For what happened next damn near stole my tears. The tattoos came alive right in front of my eyes. They both slowly stood up and climbed off her hands and showed me why she never took the time with a man. They climbed deep inside of this woman's garden. She closed her eyes and she gently bit her bottom lip. I stepped, I left, and I don't regret leaving. And I'll never forget all the things I saw that evening. A glimpse of religion, a piece of coming closer to understanding more about what intrigues me most. I didn't get turned on, I just got turned. I wasn't as aroused as I was concerned. For each one of them I've hurt, and every time I've been burned, I got a lot to teach, but even more to learn. So now I keep my eyes open, hoping to take in all I can about woman taking in all she can. And as long as I breathe, I'll save a seat in my memory for the woman with the tattooed hands. There's good and evil in each individual. Fire identifies needs and feeds our desires. Long as we keep our spirit inspired, she could bite her bottom lip all she wants. There's good and evil in each individual. Fire identifies needs and feeds our desires. Long as we keep our spirit inspired, she could bite her bottom lip all she wants. All right.
Well, there are so many people to thank for our program. First, Josh Morningstar, our guest for this evening. We're ever grateful for our volunteers and staff who make our production happen so beautifully each week. We want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast, watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and those listening to us on the network of Red Barn stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, Central and Eastern Kentucky's radio news leader. You can listen online at weku.org because it's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU. That's NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Those of you here in the Central Kentucky area, be sure to check out Red Barn TV. It's our weekly program of music, now on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests and our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. Now, before we close out tonight's program, let's bring back Josh for one more tune.
All right. Yes,
All right.
sir.
Josh Morningstar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all so much, man. I've had a great time, and I'm so happy to have finally been here. Thank you so much. We lost Jerry Lee Lewis last week. I'm a big fan of his music. There's no question the mark that he left on music as a whole. However, Jerry Lee as a person has made some questionable decisions. We've all made questionable decisions, but Jerry Lee's may be a bit more questionable than, say, a normal person. A lot of people know Jerry Lee married his 13-year-old cousin. A lot of people don't realize that 13-year-old cousin was wife number 3 out of 7. Jerry Lee been married 7 times. There's evidence to support the theory that Jerry Lee might have killed killed his fourth and fifth wives. Now, I don't know. I wasn't there when either of those incidents occurred. I cannot say whether he did or not. Only the good Lord and the killer know. That's what Jerry Lee calls himself, the killer. Only good Lord and the killer know what really happened on those nights. But I heard that story, and I was like, well, that's a song. So I wrote it with my friend Jada. It's called Jerry Lee. Oh, I'm Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee, hillbilly insanity, tickling teens and ivories, praise the Lord, Elvis died. I'm Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee, pianos, pistols, tragedies, Pentecostal fury and a shot of speed, sing great balls of fire. Well, if you don't know, then I'll learn you something. They don't call me the killer for nothing. Dangerous, a methamphetamine buzzing. Crazy enough to marry my first cousin. Touched by the devil, paranoid hellraiser. F. Chuck Berry, I'm the real trailblazer. People staring like they're scared of me. For the record, they ought to be. I'm Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee. Hillbilly insanity, tickling teens and ivories. Praise the Lord, Elvis died. I'm Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee, pianos, pistols, hear the screams, Pentecostal fury and a shot of speeds and great balls of fire. Well, there's blood on the carpet, blood on the lamp, blood on the bed sheets, blood on my hands. This type of thing might have happened before, but that bad girl ain't bad no more. I know I'm needy, sometimes jealous. I'm larger than life, baby, I can't help it. She knew what would happen if she tried to leave. Nobody walks out on me. I'm Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee, hillbilly insanity, tickling teens and ivories. Praise the Lord, Elvis died. I'm Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee, pianos, pistols, rest in peace, Pentecostal fury and a shot of speed, sing great balls of fire. Oh, 7 wives, 7 deadly sins, 4 and 5 die, coincidence, DeSoto County, no evidence, cause and effect of messing with Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee, inconclusive autopsy, who, what, where, why, it's a mystery, but it's all right. I'm Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee, yeah, the boys round here take care of me. Wouldn't dare try to pin it on me or my great balls of fire. I sang great balls of fire, still singing great balls of fire. Thank you all very much.
Josh Morningstar.
Thank you.
Well, that's all for our show for this week. You can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. You can also listen to archived performances on Spotify and iTunes and watch mountains of video on the Red Barn Radio YouTube channel. Hey, remember, every like, comment, share, and subscribe helps bring roots music Southern style to your neck of the woods. And finally this, if any of our featured artists are performing in your area, get out and hear them live. They need you now more than ever. From all of us here at Red Barn Radio now to all of our friends worldwide, keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night from Red Barn Radio.